Good day, everyone.
I was born and raised in Detroit. Growing up there, I saw people like me running things.
This is a courtroom, not a circus, so we're gonna calm down.
I'm sorry.
What I found there was a passion that I didn't know existed.
This is the bottom line.
I'm excited to free fall into the limitless possibilities with we the people. So many are fearful of the law. They think it's something that works against them.
I think you need to begin to accept responsibility for your mistakes.
We are the people.
Sarah DIAKOS claims her cheating ex stiffed her on his half of the rent after they broke up. Rudolph Molina says Ms. DIAKOS wanted to have a threesome, then became jealous afterward and drove him away.
This is the case of DIAKOS versus Molina. Ms. DIAKOS, you are suing Mr. Molina for $5,250. You say the defendant owes you rent after your breakup. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your
Defendant,
Honor.
you say that the plaintiff forced you to move out. Is that correct?
That is correct,
I'll
Your
start
Honor.
with you, plaintiff. So how long were you living together?
It was coming up close to a year, Your Honor.
And were you friends, in a relationship, just roommates?
We were in a relationship for almost 2 years prior to us moving in together.
All right. Was the defendant on the lease, or were you on the lease, or both?
I was the only one on the lease.
All right. So what happened?
So naturally, our relationship was progressing, so we decided to move in together. But the place we found was a little over our price budget. So I asked him if he would be okay with splitting the rent with me, which he agreed upon via text message.
All right. So you all had an agreement to split the rent.
Correct.
And you said that is evidenced through text messages. Did you bring those?
Yes, Your Honor.
May I see your evidence, please? Mr. Molina, so you agreed to split rent with Ms. DIAKOS?
That is correct.
And you were in the relationship just as she stated?
Yep.
All right, here are the text messages that say you found a beautiful place. How bad is the rent? $3,500, but I love it. It's $1,750 split between us. Oh my God, that's incredible. Don't worry. I'll put it in my name. Are you okay with paying the $1,750 each? Let's do it. All right, so we clearly see a meeting of the minds. So take me to the moment where this all came crashing down. The relationship ended, or what happened?
The relationship did end because of unfaithfulness on my ex-boyfriend's part, Your Honor.
All right, so you cheated, Mr. Molina.
I did not cheat.
Okay, what happened?
Well, basically what happened is, we had been dating for quite some time, and it was Sarah's idea to spice up our relationship. So she suggested, it was all her idea, to have a threesome. And I had asked her if she had anyone in mind, and she mentioned my friend Thomas from work, who I had,
Okay.
Yeah, we had been working together for about a year at that point, and we'd become really close, and we were hanging out, after work, talking about things that were work-related, and also socializing.
All this made you decide, yeah, I'm cool with doing a threesome with him.
Well, we had a casual friendship as well, and it was her suggestion to bring him up. I didn't mention him, and...
Well, I bet you wouldn't.
Yeah, absolutely not.
So she says, what about the guy from work?
Well, I was a little hesitant at first because although we have a good relationship, I didn't want that to seep into our work life and affect things. But she was really persistent about it.
So did you have the threesome?
We did.
All right. How many times did you have a threesome with Thomas from work?
It was just that one time.
All right. And so you were fine with that? Ms. DIAKOS, you were fine. You got what you wanted.
I was fine with the threesome, Your Honor, but what transpired afterwards is Rudy having a relationship with that man.
That's not true.
Like he mentioned, he was spending a lot more time after work with Thomas.
He's my coworker. Obviously, we're going to spend a lot of time together.
So explain the movie ticket stub that I found doing your laundry.
It's very normal for two friends to go see a movie after work. That's exactly what happened.
Sure.
I don't have time to iron out all this relationship nonsense. Were you or were you not sleeping with Thomas from the office outside of the threesome that you did with your girlfriend?
I was not sleeping with Thomas outside of the
you thought he was.
threesome.
I'm sure he is, Your Honor.
All right, and do you have any evidence to prove that?
Well, Your Honor, the final straw was when I caught Rudy and Thomas in the kitchen spoon-feeding Rudy some pasta sauce and Rudy smacking Thomas's butt. Rudy denies it, Your Honor.
Well, how does he deny it if you saw it?
I did.
So you're going to say that didn't happen, Mr. Molina?
It did happen. However, she walked in on that one moment. So her perception of what happened is not really what happened.
So what really happened in your estimation?
Yes. So after the threesome, clearly my relationship with Sarah was under fire, and she was starting to be more paranoid and honestly making me a little uncomfortable within the relationship. So I wanted to kind of patch things up by cooking her a surprise dinner after work. And I know she really loves pesto pasta, and I'm really not a good cook. I couldn't boil an egg to save my life.
Coming up,
I was really impressed by it, so yeah, I give him a little slap on the butt. But that's normal between two guys. I used to play soccer. We do that on the field, in
You're
the
not
locker
on
room.
the soccer field. You're in the kitchen.
and later,
Everything was completely disorganized. Nothing was packaged properly. There was tape everywhere. Bags were just thrown, happened all around.
Okay, they weren't ready.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Emmy-nominated We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. We're back with the case of Sarah DIAKOS, who brought Rudolph Molina to court for running out on the rent.
He just happened to know how to make pesto pasta.
He actually does, yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's really good at it.
Okay.
So
How convenient.
he sent me his recipe. It wasn't even supposed to be anything more than that, and I was working on the recipe, and I kept calling him because I didn't understand how to do certain things, and he got impatient and said, I'll just come over. So he comes over, he's helping me cook, and he actually ends up making the sauce. And at that moment that the sauce was done, he gives me a spoon of it to try, and I was really impressed by it. So yeah, I give him a little slap on the butt. But that's normal between two guys. I used to play soccer. We do that on the field,
You're
in the
not
locker
on
room.
the soccer field. You're in the kitchen.
I understand.
Location matters.
And I guess timing, because that's when she walked in and
All right,
witnessed
so it
this.
did happen.
It happened, but
All
not
right,
to
let's
the
get
way
to
that
this
she
lease.
thought so.
Let's get to this lease, because you all basically saying the same thing happened. Why are we here suing for $5,250?
So after that incident with the cooking, Thomas stormed out of the house, and I decided to end things with Rudy. I can't afford the...
So you broke up with Mr. Molina.
I did.
And what was the terms of the breakup? We're going to break up and we're going to just still live here till this lease is up? We're going to break up and you're going to get out? What were the terms?
That we would write out the end of this lease together.
All right, were those the terms, Mr. Molina? Did you say, look, we're going to break up, but we're just going to finish this lease, 17, what you paid, what'd you say you paid each?
$17.50.
$17.50 each.
So we didn't necessarily agree to that, but I told her I would stick around to help pay the rent, but then she made it a little unbearable for me to live there, that I
And
had
so
to
what did
leave.
she do to make it unbearable?
Well, she forced me to sleep on the couch, which was baffling because I actually bought the mattress that she's sleeping on. And furthermore, she would invite guys over constantly.
So you ended up moving out, Mr. Molina?
I did.
When did you move out?
I moved out after I had asked Sarah kindly to discontinue the behavior and to control...
You got angry and left.
Well, I didn't really get angry. I gave her a chance to make things right, the way you would to a
Were
landlord.
you comfortable sleeping on the couch if the guys weren't coming in and out?
I would have made that work, but to be honest with you, I thought this would blow over. I thought she would get over it and realize that she was overreacting and being a little too paranoid, and we would just continue on the path of our beautiful relationship that once was.
Excuse me, you left me in the apartment and you went to go move in with your new boyfriend.
He's not my boyfriend.
All right. So why are you suing for $5,250? That's the $1,750
Times 3.
times 3 months.
Right.
Okay. All right, I've heard enough. It's obvious to the court, and both parties have testified to the fact that you had an agreement to rent this place. You weren't on the lease, but you had lived there a substantial amount of time, paid the rent, you said you did, and then you all had a breakup. Upon the breakup, you also said somewhat, which usually don't somewhat say you're gonna pay some rent. You were still staying there, you were still paying the money, so it is implied that yes, you were going to pay that rent until further notice. The problem exists is when you decide to just move out, you don't give any notice, you don't pay a couple of months' rent, you do nothing, you just leave.
Well, I did give her notice. I asked her if she could stop
No
bringing all
notice.
these
No
guys
notice.
around.
I'm talking about notice, as in the next 60 days, I'm going to move out, to give her time to maybe find another tenant to sublease to so that she does not have to pay all that rent. So it's the determination of this court that, Mr. Molina, you did in fact owe the remainder of the rental balance for this apartment. You have stated in open court that I agreed to pay. I was going to live that lease out. Now, when she started having people over, I get it. It made you uncomfortable. You felt like you didn't have the full use and enjoyment of your apartment. But at the same time, you were sleeping on the couch and comfortable with that. So therefore, if you still were able to sleep on the couch every night, why not just live out the lease?
Your Honor, my name is not on the lease. I'm not tied legally to pay this rent. She can afford it. She was approved for it. So this act is really just to make my life harder.
Your act is to really keep this case going too long, and I'm done. You have been paying rent all year long. You had another relationship, maybe, maybe not. That does not in any way affect your obligation to see through an agreement that you've already testified in open court existed, that you were going to rent this place and split half. If everybody under the sun decided once they were done with somebody, they could just hop on out the house and not finish paying the rent, it just doesn't make any sense. People break up every day. You may not be on the lease, but it is clear through these text messages that you had an agreement. With that said, judgment for the plaintiff for $5,250. Court is adjourned.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $5,250.
You wanted
cheated
the
on me.
threesome. You wanted this. This is crazy.
And you have a boyfriend now. Go back to him.
Coming up,
So we moved everything out. He's dropping things left and right. I'm like,
Two boxes. Two boxes I dropped.
He's
That's
mad
it.
because
And the only reason I dropped them was because they were
he
falling
has
apart
to
when I
be.
was lifting them
He has
into
to
the
be in
apartment.
charge. He wants to be in charge.
you're watching Emmy-nominated We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. Jason Smart claims his back was sprained after he lunged for a falling TV during a move. Sean Beasley says Mr. Smart dropped the TV and needs to pay for his clumsiness. Mr. Beasley is countersuing in the amount of $418.94.
This is the case of Smart versus Beasley. Mr. Smart, you are suing Mr. Beasley for $600.86. You say the defendant is responsible for your back injury. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. And the defendant, you are countersuing the plaintiff for $418.94. You say the plaintiff hurt himself and broke a TV.
That is correct.
All right. How did all this happen? I'm going to start with the plaintiff. Go ahead, sir.
His girlfriend, Kim, was moving to a new apartment, and my girlfriend, Jen, asked me to help them move. So when I finally got to the day of them moving, I showed up to the apartment. I waited for them. They were late with the moving truck, and which point, when they finally arrived, I noticed that when they pulled up the back, everything of the back of the truck, rather, was everything was completely disorganized.
Your
Nothing
Honor.
was packaged properly. There was tape everywhere. Bags were just thrown, happened all around.
Okay, they weren't ready. So,
Absolutely, I
Mr. Beasley,
understand.
you're going to move.
Correct. So he's agitated right off the bat. He's annoyed. He starts arguing with me. He says, "Oh, this truck's a mess." Well, we got it all
was?
in. We got it all in the truck, and it was fine. So we moved everything out. He's dropping things left and right. I'm like,
Two boxes. Two boxes I dropped.
He's
That's
mad
it.
because
And the only reason I dropped them was because they were
he
falling
has
apart
to
when I
be.
was lifting them
He has
into
to
the
be in
apartment.
charge. He wants to be in charge. So
All
I say,
right.
slow down.
Why are you suing Mr. Beasley for $600? I'm going to give you a minute. Mr. Smart, tell me why.
So after about 2 hours of moving everything in, the last thing that we had to move in was this like 55-inch TV that was not properly wrapped. It was not in a
it was
box.
protected.
It was not. They threw a blanket over it.
It was protected.
I expressed that this was not proper enough packaging. I asked them why this wasn't properly in a box or wrapped up, to which the defendant said that it was all right, it was fine, it was the last thing, we just needed to move it in real quick.
Coming up,
You don't save your TV box when you buy a TV so you can put it back in there when you move?
I personally do, but it was my girlfriend Kim, so she
You
did.
what?
you're watching Emmy-nominated We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. We're back with a disagreement between Jason Smart and Sean Beasley over a sprained back and a smashed TV.
So we were trying to move it into the apartment. As we did, the cord fell onto the floor, and the defendant, albeit accidentally, tripped on the cord. He stepped on it, which pulled the TV out of my hands. Now I tried to lunge at it to grab the TV, at which point when I did, lifting all the weight from the TV, it caused me to sprain my back. I dropped the TV, and I was not fit in the rest of the day to move any of the boxes. I mean, thankfully, that was the very last thing to move in, but I was unable to move anything else besides that.
What are
Thankfully,
your damages? Do you have evidence?
yes, I do, Your Honor.
Let me just have the entire folder.
The entire folder.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
So you hurt your back and you had to take 6 sessions.
Yes, that is correct. After a couple of days, I mean, thankfully there was a neighbor there to help move in the TV, but I was unfit to move anything. I wasn't even fit to drive the car home. My girlfriend drove me home.
So this is the receipt for your physical therapy sessions. You had to go to the chiropractor and do
That's
physical therapy?
That is correct, yeah.
6 sessions, totaling $600.86, which is the amount of your suit.
That is correct,
All
yes.
right, so you paid for these sessions and you want Mr. Beasley to pay you back because you feel like he didn't have his TV wrapped up right, he stepped on the cord and caused you to hurt your back. You don't save your TV box when you buy a TV so you can put it back in there when you move?
I personally do, but it was my girlfriend, Kim, so she
You
did.
what?
I do my own, but it was my girlfriend's, and it was, it was her move, so I didn't have her.
It was her move.
Correct.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns. You're watching Emmy-nominated We the People with Judge Lauren Lake.
Well, that makes my job easy. We can just say this now. The defendant's countersuit is dismissed. As for your suit, Mr. Smart,
Yes.
you voluntarily went over there to move. Then you looked in the garage and you assessed that it was a mess. And these things were not packed right. And they were not ready. And you kept on helping. I just let
correct,
you
yes.
run your mouth, honey. And you had all your little details like Doogie Howser. And then I assessed that this was a mess. And then I assessed that this TV was not packaged. And I assessed that the cord had fallen. You assessed yourself right into a hurt back. Your case is dismissed, plaintiff. Defendant, your case is dismissed. And even if it was his TV, his case was still going to be dismissed. But he testified it's not even his TV. He didn't even pay for it. He didn't have any damages. It's his girlfriend's TV. Woo, y'all made my job easy. Next case, court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled both cases are dismissed.
I did buy her the TV, but I guess next time I'll wait for better moving help.
I mean, I guess this is what I get for helping people.
Sure.
I'm out $600 and I have a hurt back.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.